1079 WLXM, Lexington's community radio station. It is November 1st, Thursday, and it is now time for Tower Talk Live. Ladies and gentlemen, with your Chamber of Commerce, this is Emily.
From the Greater Lexington Chamber and Visitor Center, this is Emily Russell. You're listening to Tower Talk Live on 1079 WLXM at the Shops at Flight Deck. We have a very special guest with us this morning, Mike Flack. Mike of Flack Media is the chairman of the Chamber's Board of Directors. I'd like to go ahead and jump into getting to know Mike, if that's okay. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Sure. You know, I thought we might do a little bit of background conversation first, just get to know, a little bit about you, what you've done.
All right.
I understand that you're a retired Army colonel. Is that correct?
I am. I had 7 years, a little over 7 years in the active Army, and then I had another 25 in the Army Reserve. And very, very proud and happy that I could do that.
We thank you for doing that as well. I imagine you've been quite a few places and traveled a lot through that role.
Well, a little bit, yeah. I had the pleasure, if you want to call it that, of going to Southeast Asia for a year. And the rest of my time with the Army was mostly Georgia and Kentucky. A few other places, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, Fort Sheridan, Illinois. So I got around a little bit thanks to the Army. It was a good experience.
Now, from the Army, you moved into a truck and fleet sales manager for a car dealership. Is that right?
Yeah, when I got out of the Army, I was sort of at loose ends. I had never interviewed for a job, really didn't know what to do, but I knew I had a wife and baby to support. So I took a job selling cars. And after a few months, that transitioned to truck and fleet sales manager at a Dodge dealership in Kentucky. And I knew it wasn't the life for me, but I am glad that I did it. I learned a lot. Life as a commissioned salesman is a little bit different, and I certainly appreciate people who make their living that way. You go from month to month, and you really have to. Going from a steady paycheck the same every month to being a commissioned salesman was quite a transition.
I can imagine. And then from there, did you go from being in sales to a college instructor?
Well, actually, from there, I worked for an insurance company. I was an office manager for a few years.
Okay.
And then went from there to Bluegrass Airport in Lexington, Kentucky, as the Director of Administration and Finance. And I was working on a master's degree at the same time, and when I got the degree, I was asked to, or invited to, teach some courses in aviation administration at Eastern Kentucky University. And I taught those courses for 5 or 6 years, and I just thoroughly enjoyed doing that. It was just a real pleasure working with upperclassmen in college who knew exactly where they wanted to go and were willing to work hard to get there. And so I taught 1 or 2 nights a week, depending on the semester and the class. And it was one of the fun things that I've done. Wish I could do it again.
Now, from Kentucky, did you go from there to being the executive director at the Columbia Metropolitan Airport?
Yes.
Okay.
At Bluegrass Airport, I was Director of Administration and Finance for about 2.5 years, and then was fortunate to be selected to be the Executive Director at that airport. And I was there for a little over 11 years. And then my good friend Bob Waddle announced his retirement in Columbia, South Carolina. So I called and talked with him and decided to send a resume. And that's how I got to South Carolina. Columbia Metropolitan Airport's a bigger airport than Bluegrass. About the same number of passengers, commercial passengers, but Columbia Metropolitan Airport has a lot more than a lot of other airports, cargo not being the least of it. Certainly it's a big cargo operation, but also a lot of maintenance, a lot of private and corporate aviation. There's a lot going on at Columbia Metropolitan, and I enjoyed my almost 12 years there.
I'm just curious, can you tell me about what maybe a typical day would have been like for you when you were in that role? I'm sure there may not have been a typical day for you there.
Well, that's correct. I've had that question before, and I said, I really don't know what a typical day is, because that was one of the fun things, one of the nice things about being an airport director. There are no 2 days alike. You don't go to work one day and say, hey, this is just like that day a month ago, because it isn't that way. There are some things that are always going on, but there's always something new popping up that you have to deal with. I was blessed with a great staff and a great bunch of people to work with at Columbia Metropolitan and at Bluegrass Airport. And so they made my life easier. And they made it just a real pleasure.
Okay. And now we're lucky to have you as our chairman for the Chamber's Board of Directors. And you also have Flack Media, which is a photography company.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about Flack Media?
Well, my wife, Judy, started a thing several years ago. At that time, she called it Aljo Productions, where she was doing video editing, slideshows, and that sort of thing. And then when I retired, we added photography because we are both photographers. I've been a photographer for all my adult life. Actually started when I bought my first nice camera while I was in Vietnam and took a few pictures there. So we added photography, and now photography is our main focus. We do family photography, event photography. We've done some assignments for magazines and some restaurants that we're remodeling, and we both just really enjoy taking pictures of different things, random things, and it's a lot of fun.
I know that you've done some work for us as well. Both you and Judy have photographed a lot of our events.
Yes.
You can see some of those pictures on the Chamber's website as well as in the directory that's coming up. I think that Judy's been busy taking some pictures for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've sort of amassed a large collection of photographs, and so, for instance, this last job that we got for a remodeling project where they wanted some pictures of local events. And we were able to go into our files and pull those out for them, and so, it's a fun thing, and it really allows us to get out in the community, to go to events and sometimes just drive around, and when you're theoretically retired, like I am theoretically, that means you do whatever you want to do, if you can. A lot of people don't have the options that we have, and we're very fortunate and blessed that we can do what we do. So it's pretty nice.
So you're located in Lexington. Do you do some traveling for Flack Media as well, if need be, or?
We can. We haven't gone a great distance, although we have traveled a little bit. I think right now probably 50 miles is our longest, but we're available.
Okay. Now, can I ask? We talked about a little bit about your career, and we spoke about Georgia and Kentucky. Why? Can I ask why Lexington?
Yeah, and that's a question that I enjoy answering. When I talked to Bob Waddle about his retirement, and I asked him, I said, Bob, should I send a resume for that position? He said, and I quote, Mike, you're going to love working in South Carolina. And it's true. I came to my first chamber event in 1998, and I was welcome. I was made to feel at home. And I have felt more at home in Lexington, South Carolina, than I have ever felt anywhere, to include where I grew up. I am at home here now, and when I go back to Western Kentucky, where I grew up, it's nice visiting relatives, but I'm a visitor there. Lexington has a great culture. It is a great bunch of people. Lexington is a place where you are made to feel welcome. Strangers smile and say hello. They hold the door. They let you move out in traffic. Coming from Lexington, Kentucky, I was not accustomed to those things. And the other piece of that is that I think the Lexington Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Center really embodies that culture and exemplifies that culture. And that's one reason I've enjoyed the Chamber of Commerce so much, is just being a part of an organization with people who are that warm and friendly. It's really nice for me to be here.
Well, you mentioned, when you first got started with the Chamber and you felt welcome there as well. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe how you first got involved with the chamber, why you first got involved?
Well, I got involved for the same reason I had been involved in other organizations in other places, because I felt then and still feel that the airport manager needs to be out in the community. The director of the airport needs to be out meeting people, talking with people, promoting the airport, and finding out what their needs are and how they feel about the airport. It's a two-way process. And so I wanted to get out with the chamber and other groups, and I just found the chamber a great bunch of people.
That's great. You know, if you don't mind, we'll take a quick break from your interview.
Sure.
I just wanted to mention a couple of ribbon cuttings that we have coming up, and then we have a commercial break. But when we come back from that commercial break, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about your experience with the chamber.
Good.
We have a ribbon cutting tomorrow on November 2nd at 9:30 in the morning. It's for Shepherd Center of Lexington. That one will actually be held at Lexington United Methodist Church. Then tomorrow evening, well, early evening at 4 o'clock, we have another ribbon cutting for RP Realty. They're located on Sunset Drive in West Columbia. And from what I hear, we'll have beverages, food, and some, the food's from Backyard Cafe. Should be a really good time. And then another one to keep on your calendar is November 9th for JB Productions. This is a new member who just joined who does murder mystery events and other types of event planning. So that should be a really interesting ribbon cutting as well. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back shortly after these messages.
.1079 WLXM, Lexington's community radio station. Now back to Tower Talk Live. Here's Emily Russell.
Good afternoon. We're here with Mike Flack of Flack Media. He's also the chairman of the Chamber's Board of Directors. Mike, thank you again for your time today.
Oh, thank you.
We were just talking a little bit about how you first got involved with the Chamber. Now, you were also the chairman from 2004 to 2005.
That's correct.
Can I ask how that time compares to your time as the chairman now?
Well, you know, some things are similar. I'm still having fun. Being chairman of this chamber is a commitment, but it is fun. There are differences. Certainly there are differences in staff and staffing and membership. Our membership has grown. I think it's almost doubled since 2005. In just that 7-year period, we've grown a lot. And, I look back at when I first got involved. I first became a member of the board of directors in 1999, and we were talking about the role of the chamber. At that time, it was strictly a networking group, a social organization, and there was some hesitance on the part of some members to change that. They liked the way it was. But a lot of us wanted to add to it. We felt there was a need for an advocate for business, and we felt that that was a role the chamber should take on. We did that, and now in 2012 and moving into 2013, the Lexington Chamber of Commerce has become a strong, effective advocate for the business community in this area, and I think that's important. And I said as we move into 2013, because we don't know how this election is going to go nationally. It's very, very close, but we know that there will be differences of some sort in Washington and at the state level and at the local level. Certainly there will be differences at the local level, and the Chamber of Commerce is the one organization in Lexington that can and will serve as an advocate for the business community. And it wasn't that way, certainly it wasn't that way 13 years ago. In 2004, 2005, we were just at the point of sort of forming that advocacy function and learning how to do that. It was 2004 that we took on the role of addressing traffic issues. We did a survey of our membership and found that the number one concern for all of our members was traffic congestion in the town of Lexington. So we took on that project. We worked with members of the legislature. We worked with the Department of Transportation, town council, the business community, and we came up with a plan. Now, I know it seems like nothing has ever happened with that plan, but there are signs right out here at this intersection where we are that work is about to begin on that. Any transportation project is 10 years in the making. From the time you conceive of the idea until you begin work, it's going to take about 10 years. So we're 8 years into that. It should be finished in about the 10th year, which in transportation project language is pretty fast. But the chamber did that, and the chamber is still monitoring that process. The town has taken it over, and that's good. That's where it belongs. But the chamber is still there as an advocacy group for the business community. You look at our membership, the way it's grown, the town has grown, the chamber has grown. These are good things. And I think both will continue. We've got almost 1,000 members now. And I can tell you in 2004, we would not have thought about that possibility. In 2004, as I recall, we were hoping to get over 600 maybe. So there are some differences, and of course the biggest difference of all is our new building. We can't forget the new building,
which we love.
And so you should, and I think the community should love that building as well. It's a new landmark, and what a nice building. And of course, can I mention the event? No.
Please do.
November 15th.
That's right.
There'll be a ribbon cutting and a business after hours to celebrate the new building, and we certainly want to invite everybody in the community to come over and join us.
Yes.
And if you're out and about and want to stop in, that's good too, although they're not really fully moved in yet, folks.
We will be by November 15th. And that business after hours is sponsored by Northlake Construction. From what I understand, Royce has planned some live entertainment, food, and beverages as well. So we're really excited about that.
It's going to be a party.
It will be.
And it should be, because we're celebrating something. I think the new building is very symbolic of where the chamber is now. I said in a meeting the other day, this is the end of the beginning, because we've had sort of a transition process with this Chamber of Commerce over the last 8 years. And now we are in a new building, and we're going to move forward and do even more than we've done before. I think it's great for the community as well as the Chamber of Commerce.
I think it's really a great time to get involved and join the chamber if members haven't already. There's just so many exciting events and things going on right now.
Yeah, people in this community really should be involved with the Chamber of Commerce. If you want to get to know people, if you want to promote your business, there is no better way or place to do it than the chamber. And if anyone listening is not a member of the Chamber of Commerce, I really urge them to call and talk with Haley or Randy or me or you or anyone, because there are so many benefits to chamber membership. It's well worth the investment.
And mentioning the membership drive that we're in the middle of right now, the directory deadline, which when you join the chamber, you're included in our membership directory, it was just extended to November 9th. So you have a little bit more time to get involved and be included in that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and, you know, for instance, I keep a copy of the directory. I go online. If I'm looking for something, I go to the chamber membership first. And I really hesitate doing business with people who aren't members because it tells me they're not really involved in the community.
Right.
And so I just really urge people to get involved with the chamber. Come to our monthly breakfast. It's always a great event. We have great speakers. Ike McLeese will be our speaker November 13th.
November 13th?
Yes.
And we need to take a quick commercial break, but I'd love to talk about the breakfast a little bit more once we come back from our break, if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right. We'll see you back in just a few minutes.
.1079 WLXM. Now it's time for the final segment of Tower Talk Live. Here's Emily Russell.
This is Emily with the Lexington Chamber. Thank you for listening to Tower Talk Live today. We've been here with Mike Flack of Flack Media, having a great conversation about all of the different events and things going on.
And we do have a lot going on.
You know, I'd like to say quickly, for your information, we will be closed on November 6th in observation of Election Day. And I personally would encourage you to go out there and let your voice be heard in this election.
Absolutely.
Before we left for commercial break, we were talking about the breakfast that's coming up. Ike McLeese is the speaker, and I believe he's talking about the military impact on the local economy.
Yeah, Ike McLeese is president of the Columbia Chamber of Commerce, and of course we have a great relationship between the two chambers. And so Ike also serves as civilian assistant to the Secretary of the Army. He's one of two in South Carolina. And so Ike is going to come over and talk about the potential impact on the community with budget cuts on the military and funding for the military in general. I think this is something that will be of interest to a lot of us. Some of us are ex-military, and some of us just simply support the military and what they do. And so I would really invite people to come out and join us for breakfast on the 13th and hear Ike. And while I'm on it, I would also encourage people to join us every month. We have breakfast at the Country Club the second Tuesday of every month. Always a great speaker and always a great bunch of people. So it's a nice event.
And there is more information on the breakfast at our website, lexingtonsc.org, as well, if someone is interested.
Absolutely.
In that. You know, I mentioned a couple of the ribbon cuttings that are coming up, and we've talked a little bit about business after hours events as well. I know you usually attend pretty much every one of those that we have.
I do. I try to make all of them. I miss one every now and then, but if I miss one, it's not because I wanted to. Right. Business after hours is always a great event, and I would certainly urge people to go on our website, lexingtonsc.org, and check schedules. Business after hours is a party. It's a good time. It's always good food, good drink, but again, it's the people. It's the people who are there, and so it's an opportunity to come and meet people, network, promote your business. Business after hours is just a lot of fun, but it's also a very effective marketing tool. Between breakfast and business after hours, you really have some good opportunities to get to know people and promote your business. I would also say that the ribbon cuttings, we have so many of them. That's one of the differences now and 2004. We had ribbon cuttings in 2004, but I think we have as many in a week now as we did in a month back then. We have a lot of ribbon cuttings because there are so many new businesses and so many people joining the chamber. Those are good, too.
You know, speaking of the new businesses, I would just quickly like to mention a few that we have who have joined us recently. We have Archwood Counseling Services, Ed Simpson Agency with Allstate, JB Productions, who is having a ribbon cutting pretty soon here, Schlotsky's Deli, McAllister Communications, Michael Sandor, Templeton Law Firm, Brand Mortgage, Homeland Senior Care, Autism Academy of South Carolina, and Emeritus at Lexington Gardens. So quite a range of members and different areas of business with that group. Yeah,
quite a variety and quite a number. That's great.
Now, we recently had Ryder Cup, the golf tournament this week, and you played in the Ryder Cup, is that right?
No, I didn't play. I was there.
Okay.
I was there, but I didn't play.
Okay.
I gave up golf years ago and took up a motorcycle, and it has worked better for me.
I understand.
Golf was a great frustration for me. I know a lot of people enjoy golf, and I think those people who were at the Ryder Cup had a good time. It turned out to be a nice day.
I understand there were 72 players that day, broken into, it was played like the Ryder Cup is, with 36 two-man teams. I'm still just beginning in golf. I don't know a lot about it. I'm learning. But they played 9 holes captain's choice, 9 holes best ball. And apparently there were 18 on the blue team, 18 on the red team, and the blue team won. So from what I was out there for a couple hours, from what I understand, it really was a great time.
Yeah, a nice golf course. And the Ryder Cup we did at Golden Hills. In the spring, we'll have our big golf tournament at the country club. Again, another great opportunity to come out and participate. And if you don't play golf like some of us, go and enjoy the social part.
Yes.
There's always a good party at the end of the day.
I enjoy the social part of golfing more than golf itself. And I understand next year we have tentative plans for the Ryder Cup to have a dinner the night before the tournament, which falls in line a little more with the actual Ryder Cup.
Yeah, and this year was our third time doing the Ryder Cup, so each year it gets better. And next year I think it's really going to be a bang-up event.
Yeah. One more event I'd like to mention today. We've been doing the Small Business Big Opportunity series with Consultants of Carolina, and we have one more of those coming up on November 8th. It's Making QuickBooks Work for Your Business. That event is at the new Chamber building, so if you haven't seen the new building, that might be a great time to stop by and see it. That course itself is presented by Christina Ogle, who's the owner of Palmetto Business Solutions in Lexington. It's from 11:30 till 1. The details of that are listed on our website and on our social media, on our Facebook as well. That's really been a great series that we've had a few people come and enjoy. And, if you haven't attended all of them, you can certainly attend this one just on its own.
And, Emily, some of these specialty seminars have been really good for business owners. Some of them have been great for small business owners who don't always have the assets and the opportunity to get this sort of training and information. And that's just one of the other things that the Chamber does for its membership. Another good reason to join.
That's right. And there's also a couple of community events that are coming up as well. If you are a member, then you probably receive the Tower Talk newsletter that used to be Past, Present, and Future electronic newsletter. It goes out every week on Wednesdays. We mentioned a couple of community events in that yesterday, but I just wanted to say them on air as well. We have the Moving for Meals March, which is the Lexington Recreation and Aging Commission. They put that together, and that begins actually here at the Shops at Flight Deck. That's on Saturday. It's a 2-mile fitness walk that's coming up. There's also the November Power Up Luncheon. The Power Up Luncheon series is a great series. If you haven't attended it, then it's worthwhile. That's on November 20th, and the speaker is Tim James. He's the Executive Director and VP of Lexington Medical Center Foundation. That series is held at Reflections Banquet Hall from 11:50 to 12:50. You know, we have that great community calendar on our website that has not only chamber events, but also community events as well. If you're looking for events to attend, we certainly encourage you to go there and look. But also, if you are planning an event that you'd like to have included, please email that information to me. It's emily@lexingtonsc.org. I think that's also a great member benefit to be able to keep up with those events.
It is indeed, and I will say this, the website is a great benefit for everyone. We want everyone to be a member of the chamber, but if you're not a member, you can still get to the website and reap the benefit of that information there.
Absolutely. You know, it's about time to wrap up. I just wanted to give a quick, a weather update, if you don't mind, Mike. Today we're looking at a high of 67 degrees. It's nice and sunny outside. That will continue to warm up through the weekend with a high of 74 on Friday, 72 Saturday, and 73 on Sunday. A beautiful, beautiful weekend to get out. Maybe take some pictures with Judy, or
there you go.
Just enjoy your weekend.
Yep, it's a beautiful day in South Carolina. We'll be out there.
Mike, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for everything that you do for the Chamber.
My pleasure. It's an honor and a pleasure to do it.
And thank you for listening. I hope that you make it a great day. We'll see you back next week.